All right, gang, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday, where we hope to provide tips to help you grow your online community. I think we're pushing close to webinar episode number 70. We're in the high 60s right now. And of course, you can go to the Brilliant Directories website, go to our blog section, and you can see all the replays there. If this is your first time joining us today, welcome. It's great to be with you. I am Jason there on the left, and we're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories. David, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Looking forward to today's presentation.
Likewise, I think we got some really good updates to share. And if you aren't already a member, please take a moment to join our Facebook group. You can go there now. Head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. It's really a great place to carry the conversation in between Webinar Wednesdays. There's some fantastic discussions there about strategy and growing your online community. I myself am very active in there, and I know a lot of the people on the webinar today are also in that Facebook group, sharing ideas and starting discussion topics. So head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook, and we can continue the chats there. Also, for those of you joining us for the first time, it's great that you've done so. It's great to be with you here today. Webinar Wednesday is really a platform where we can discuss and share marketing strategies for growing your online community. You know, launching a website and getting it online, there's lots of tools that make it really easy to do so, but growing a community does require some planning, some strategy. It really depends on the industry that you're serving and the market. So we really like to cover topics such as how to increase your website traffic, how to convert website visitors into either free or paying members, depending on what stage your site is at, identifying revenue opportunities for your specific market, and a wealth of other topics. One of my favorite is how to improve your website's navigation, really providing a good experience to the end user and directing them and funneling them to the places of your site that are not only the strongest assets of your site, but the actions you want those visitors to complete. So if you have questions on your own site on some of these topics or similar ones, please save them. We'll get to them soon, just a little later in the webinar. And we do have several BD Lab updates that we'd like to share with you today. There's tons of updates. Some of them are behind the scenes. Some of them are features that we can all play around with and enjoy and have a good time with. So I'm just going to share a few. I know that the first one here came up in the Facebook group a couple times. You do have a member reviews page where you can see all your member reviews. Prior to this week, there wasn't an option to sort the reviews by the most recent reviews first or vice versa. Let me show you exactly what we're referring to here. So if we go to our site, this is just a demo site we use. I think I can go to reviews. So this site has reviews listed here. And just in short, what you can do is if you want to I would recommend having the most recent reviews showing first. You can certainly do so. Head on over to the Content tab in your admin, edit post settings, and the post type that we would like to edit here are the reviews. So click on Edit. And from here, you want to go to the search results design because that's the page that we're referring to. And all the post types, most of them have the option here where you can scroll down and there is an option to order results by. Let me go back here. I lost my place. Let me go back down to the search results tab. So you can order results by, and you can choose most recent first, most recent last. You can also have a random order if you don't want to have preference in the immediate order that they're sorted. What I would also recommend doing is the search module to use for this, because these are kind of new settings here, if you want to set them, is the reviews search module here, Bootstrap 3 module reviews search. Just make sure you have the correct sidebar selected that has this widget in there so that it does render on the reviews page, and it does allow you to search for members, and it will show the reviews of those members that you're searching. So actually two new things there, the order results by and the search module for reviews search. All right, this one also came up in the Facebook group. Again, thank you everyone in the Facebook group for your suggestions and your feedback. It really helps us make the platform stronger for the whole community. Up until now, you could upload a website logo image in your general settings. And what we've done now is we've enabled two new additional logo fields that you can upload. So I'm in general settings, toggle on over to brand images. So you have your website logo. If you're using an image, you would upload it there. If you scroll down now, you have two more inputs here. So you have an email template logo and an invoice logo. Sometimes your website is on a dark background and the actual color of your logo is white, but you don't get that contrast in an email template. So you might have an inverse or contrast of your logo, and that's when you might want to use an alternate version of your logo for the email templates. And then also, if you have the downloadable PDF Invoices add-on, you'll have this additional input field, and the downloadable PDF Invoices do include a logo of your website. So for the same reason that you would have a different logo for your emails, you can have one for your invoices. Also, the sizes vary slightly. Again, depends the shape of your logo, if it's square or rectangle. So you can test out what works best for your site. In some cases, just having the website logo would work fine. And the hierarchy behind this is if you have an email template logo, that's the logo that will be used in your email templates. If this is empty, it'll fall back to the website logo image. If this is empty, it'll just use the name of your website in your general settings here. It'll just print plain text based on the name of your website. And the same logic is for the invoice logo. If you have a valid image here, it'll utilize this. If this is empty, it'll just continue using your website logo. So if you don't have any contrast issues with colors being on a white background or black background or darker black background, you can just stick with the website logo, but you have some more flexibility there now. All right, this one, the third one here, input field for custom footer code. So Brilliant Directories basically supports any type of tools that you want to add to your site. Some of them require adding JavaScript. Sometimes Google requires you to add verification link tags to your head file. And in some cases, some of those third-party tools ask you to place custom code right before the closing of the body tag of your site. And until now, you'd have to customize a widget. So what we've done is we've just created a simple input field where you can add custom footer code. And let me just quickly show you where that is. This will be also in the settings area. You can go to design settings. And it is in the same tab as the custom CSS and head. So let me just click on here. So you can add additional CSS to your site. As always, it'll override the default CSS template file. You can add additional head code, and if you scroll down, now you can add additional footer code, and this code will render before the close of the body tag. So there really is no reason you'd need to customize a widget. We always want to minimize the number of widgets you need to customize or create on your site. So these settings make it a little easier. If you don't know what this is, then don't worry about it. It's only if you're using third-party tools for potentially tracking or rendering certain pop-ups and things like that on your site. All right, and just a quick note, everyone knows that you can use the Google fonts in the design settings. We've recently updated the library. Google had released a ton of new fonts. So now there's a total of 847 default Google fonts that you can select in the design settings. And let me show you where you can see some of those settings. For your main website design, you can choose the main body font family, and they're all listed here. You can also choose your heading font families. They're all listed here. And a few other modules also include areas where you can choose the specific Google font you'd like to use. Now, I know what you're all thinking is, how do we know what this font looks like. It doesn't really mean anything to me. There is a link here. You can check out the Google fonts. So you can kind of test out or discover the kind of font that I want to use. So you can type in text here, it'll show you samples. And what's really cool about Google is you can actually sort by category. So let's say I'm looking for just a standard font. I don't really want handwriting or anything, just a sans serif font here. And you can see all the options here. So you can really preview the Google font that you want. You can even increase the size just to make it easier to see what it would look like larger. And then when you see the one you like let's use this one as an example, Nunito. You can just come here and it'll be listed right here. So you can go ahead and select that. So just keep in mind there is a quick link to the Google Fonts library here, and that should help make it easier identifying which Google font to select for your site. What I also like is, just since we're talking about fonts, is there's tons of lists where people match like the best heading font to go with the best body font. So you can just Google best Google font. And there really is no right answer for this. A lot of it is very subjective, but you can get some ideas of some pairings that other publishers prefer using on their site. And it kind of gives you a sense of how other people are using Google fonts. But again, it depends on your branding and all that stuff. There really is no wrong answer here. All right, there's a ton of updates. We'll continue posting them in the Facebook group and more in the next Webinar Wednesday. We also have some enhancements to some existing add-ons that we have, the members only content add-on, as well as the Google Sitemap generator add-on. David will be covering those enhancements in just a couple seconds here when we get to those slides. But let's move on to our next segment here. Rick's Corner. We're lucky to be joined by Rick here. He's one of the support directors we have. And Rick, you come across a lot of support tickets from customers. You have a lot of training calls with BD customers. And you have simple solutions to a lot of common questions here, right?
Yeah, that's right, Jason. Thank you very much for having me. Great presentation so far. And you're correct, we do run into a few questions often, and we like to discuss those during this Rick's Corner section.
All right, great. And I think the topic this week is especially helpful because it talks about how to edit the call to action links on the login page. So you obviously can input your username and password, but there's also links there that you can use for various reasons, whether it's just to sign up members or a great place to put a sponsored banner ad as well, I think.
Yes, that is completely correct. The idea behind today's topic is going to be discussing the login page. As the folks that have been with us for a while know, there was a different way to update this particular page. So it's actually very easy now. It's just a menu that you can easily manipulate. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Awesome. Let me pass over the controls to you, Rick, here.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the page that we're going to be focusing on today, the member login. So let me go ahead and jump over to the login page. And these are the two buttons that we're going to be editing today. So this is a menu. And let me go ahead and show you guys how easy it is to get there. There's a bit of a caveat here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I go to the toolbox and I open up my menu manager right now, we're not going to see this as a menu, right? There's a reason behind this because this could happen to you guys. The simple fix is just to go to the dashboard. So I'm going to jump over to the dashboard one more time. And what we're looking for here are the software updates. So we have those software updates right here. If we click check available updates, we're going to see that it allows us to activate or to add this menu that we're going to be editing. So add login links menu. Let me go ahead and install this. Right, great. Now let me go back to the toolbox and open up the menu manager one more time. So we should be able to see the login page links now. All right, perfect. So now that we're able to see this, we're going to go in and edit this menu here. And There you go. This is the actual menu. So what we have here are a few things for those of you that know how to edit a menu, which is super simple. Here on the left we have the wording that the person is going to be able to see on the front end. So if we compare this, this is going to be not a registered user, create an account today, and then the other one that we have underneath. Well, that's the other button that we have here. Are you a local business? So what a lot of people use this for is to guide their two different types of members to their respective either checkout page or their join page or an additional join page that they might need to create. So for instance, if you have vendors but you also have members of your directory, you want to create a separate place for them to register, you can do so. You can create a static page and create that menu, and then simply add the link here. So we saw the wording, and here to the right, what we have is the link. So it allows us to add a direct link here to the page where you're going to start the registration process if you were to click that button. So as most of you already know, the /checkout/5 basically allows me to know that I'm going to be routed to membership level number 5 or product ID 5. In case you're wondering where to find this, very easy. Go to Finance, open up the Manage Product section, and here's where we're going to identify the ID. So here we have like product ID 5. Each membership level or product has its own unique ID. So it's just a matter of figuring out which one you want to link to the login page. So here we're going to be linking to the general user, which is the product ID 5, and that's what we have here. And if you were to have a different page that you want to send people to in order to start the registration process, you can by all means just update this accordingly. So any questions till now, Jason?
No, you bring up a good point there. So if you have these links on the login page and you click on it and it goes to a 404 error page or the page doesn't exist, it probably means that it's linking to a product ID that isn't available on your site. Maybe you don't have 5 membership levels on your site. Maybe you just have 4. So it's no need to get flustered or anything. Just go to the menu manager and figure out which product ID you would like to link to.
Correct. So that's in case you want to have 2. Let's say that you want to get rid of 1. So we're going to get rid of this one right here. I'm just simply going to go to the menu. So here we have the actions button right here, and I'm just going to click delete. All right, so just delete this. Since there are 2 elements and now there's only 1, let me first of all save those changes. I need to also edit the CSS class real quick here. So I'm just going to get rid of everything and just leave the nav. All right, so I'm going to get rid of everything before the nav. Let me go ahead and save that. So basically by doing this, we only have 1 button now, and it's linking to checkout number 5. I just clicked edit so that I have those options here, and I basically got rid of everything and left the nav there. So if we go back to the login page, let's refresh and see how this shows up. So now there's a full width button instead of 2 different buttons like what we had before. So in case you want to go that route, that's also a possibility. But like Jason hinted at the beginning, there's also, since this is so useful, such a useful spot, a lot of people are going to be logging into their accounts, and it has a lot of usability. Then it's a great place to also add a banner, right? We have the banners available on our settings. I don't want to confuse anyone, but let me show you how easy this is. So like I said, we have the settings, and if we go ahead and open up the design settings, most of you are familiar with this section, which is the banner ads. Just wait for it to load real quick here. So it's the banner ad design tab, this one right here. I'm just going to open that up. Okay, and we're going to use one of these extra banner ads for this demonstration. So I believe that there's one already. This is the one that we're going to add. So as you already know, once you upload the image to its respective field, then we can just simply copy the widget, right? Copy the widget. And since we have the name of the widget and the shortcode widget equals, I can just simply add this to the menu, and then it's going to show up on that login page as well. Before doing so, just verify that the display banner advertisement is set to yes. You don't want to start troubleshooting the image not showing up because this was set to no. So just make sure that that's set to yes, because this is a banner advertising widget. So once you copy the widget and the shortcode, jump over to the menu. And what we had here was, like we just saw, it was the wording here, not a registered user, and the button. So we're just gonna get rid of all of that and paste the widget bootstrap theme banner responsive size 2 widget. So the shortcode all inside brackets, right? Because that's necessary. If you want to leave that as a link to the checkout page, that's fine. But you might as well just update that to a different link, right? You can go ahead and update the link.
So that one would be reliant on the link you put in the design settings for the banner ad. If you go back to the banner ad, so you actually could leave that blank. It'll be that the link that you.
This one.
Yeah. So because it's going to be rendering the widget there, it's already going to include the image and the link. So you actually don't need any of the CSS either for the link or text CSS. The nav you want to keep, but you can go ahead and just delete all that.
Correct, because this was giving the idea of a button, right? This is the class. These are the classes that create a button. So yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of that because we don't need that. We're going to use the widget. So like Jason said, it's going to use the link that we add here on this section for your banner. And then we can leave the nav on the LI right here. Now let's go ahead and save the changes. Right, perfect. So just to review, we have the name of the widget with the shortcode. We got rid of everything that was in here, and we just leave the nav. All right, so let's jump over to the login page, and let's hit refresh. And now we have the login button, and underneath the banner that we just added. So super easy. You can again link this to whatever you might need. Just make sure that you add it on the right place, which is this. Because you're using this widget, and then you have another place where you can add a banner. So keep that in mind. Super useful and very easy to set up.
Yeah, that's a great tip. If anyone has any questions about these links, feel free to use the raise your hand feature in the GoToWebinar panel. We can answer a question or two about this. And then, yeah, Rick, this banner ad thing is really nice. I mean, the buttons are nice. So even if you're just asking for general registrations or asking people to register on your site, creating an image that has a little more life to it is always helpful. And it doesn't need to link to a sponsor. It could just link to somewhere else on your own website, or it could just be a placement for a sponsored banner ad as well. So let's see if anyone has their hand up here. All right, Linda has her hand up. Let me unmute your microphone, Linda. How are you today, Linda?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks. Do you have any questions on this?
My question is, so I have my regular members, the consumer, and then I have business signups, and then I just added business to business. So how would I add that button on there? Because I saw you delete some CSS code thing. So how am I going to add a third button on there?
Certainly. How about if we take a look at your site and add that third button together?
Okay, housetohomepros.com.
Okay, Rick, I'm gonna take over.
Yep, yes, sir.
All right, let's check out the current page here. And we'll just allow my location. Okay, so you have the two buttons here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just follow Rick's steps and go to the menu manager. And you do have it, the login page links. So you have these two here. Let's go ahead and clone one. Okay, so the framework of the design that all the BD sites are built on is called Bootstrap. That's not really too important. What's important to know is that the full width of a Bootstrap page is 12 individual columns. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 columns. So when we click Edit here, you'll notice there's something called col MD6. So that means that this module is going to be 6 columns wide, which is half the space. And the second one is also going to be 6 columns wide. And therefore you have one button that's taking 50% of the space and another button that's taking the other 50% of the space. So if we have 3 buttons, we just have to do a little math in our head and know that we want to change that 12 divided by 3 would be 4 here. And that way we have 3 modules. Each of them are essentially 4 bootstrap columns wide. So this is the one I just cloned here, the third one. I'm also changing it to 4. And I'll go ahead and save my changes. And you can have, now you have 3 buttons here. And again, you can modify the text accordingly. Obviously, you want them to be the same amount of height. Now, let's make one of them a different color as well. And let me just show you. So we noticed that they're blue, green, and green. Where are those colors coming from? Let's go to the design settings. And what you have in your design settings, one of the modules here is your default button colors. So also with Bootstrap, there's basically 6. You've obviously customized them to be to match your theme, but there's primary, info, success, warning, danger, and default. So there's 6 button colors. They could be whatever colors you want them to be, but you can essentially then use them freely around your site using classes. So let's go back to your menu manager. And if we open the Edit tab again, we can see that the first link is using BTN-danger. So it's using the danger color class. And in this case, we see that danger is, you've made it blue.
Okay.
And that's why we're seeing blue here. So if we want to change one of the greens to another one, I'll just go to the bottom here and we'll change it. So right now they're both success, BTN success. I'm just going to change it to warning, another one of those 6 that you have. And again, this is good because when you use different buttons around your site, even if they're different colors, they'll always match the theme colors that you have. So now you have blue, green, and yellow. You can obviously change it to info or default and whatnot. So now you have the 3 buttons here.
Okay, perfect.
All right. All right, good question there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another strategy would be to make them all 12 columns. And just Linda, I'm going to revert it back, but I'm just going to quickly make all of them the full 12 columns. And that's basically going to stack the 3 buttons on top of each other. So just to show you, changing it 12 because 12 columns would be a full width on a Bootstrap page. So let me duplicate this tab. And we can see you can add additional spacing and stuff, but this would be another way that you could potentially style it. So you can have 3 boxes or 3 full width lines as well. And it does sound a little complicated at first, but once you can just do a little bit of the math in your head, it's really simple to kind of manipulate the column width of some of these elements here. So I'll switch them back to 4 for you. All right, no one else has their hand up. Rick or David, do you have any final notes on this topic?
No, it's just very useful, a very useful place for you to add more information and to make it easier for your users, right? They're going to be using that page quite a bit. So yeah, take advantage of it.
Awesome. All right, Rick, well, thanks so much. I know that this video will come in handy in the replay.
Thank you for having me.
All right, as we mentioned, we have some updates to 2 existing add-ons. It was the Google Sitemap Generator and the Members Only Content add-on. This is going to improve the quality of life for everyone who is using these 2 add-ons. I'll pass it over to David if you could tell us a little bit about the 2 recent updates for these add-ons.
Yeah, hey everyone. Perfect. All right, so let's go over the members only content update first, since that's a little simpler. For those of you who don't know, a brief overview of this add-on. Basically, it allows you to make your entire site or specific areas of your site locked down so that only registered members will be able to access those specific areas of your website. So in this update, we've made it a little bit easier to choose which kinds of members can access certain static web pages on your website. So we've got a sample site over here, and we'll just go into the web pages section, and we'll go ahead and edit the about page. And inside of the display settings over here on the right hand sidebar, we've got this checkbox option at the very bottom that says members only page. And now when you click that, you can choose which members will have access to this page. So these are the membership levels that we have set up on this website. So if this was only designed to be an internal page, only for people in the organization, the administrators to be able to access for whatever reason, we would choose this admin level and this admin level. And so now only admins who are logged into the website would be able to access this page once, of course, we click the save web page so that those changes get saved. So that's all that this update for this add-on did. It just really streamlined the process, and it also added a little bit of additional functionality here. So this should come in pretty handy for some of you who are utilizing this add-on.
And David, one quick note is if you don't select specific membership levels, then the page will still be members only if you have that ticked off, but it won't matter what membership level you are. Just as long as you're any registered member on the site and you're logged into your member account, you'll be able to access the page. So it won't be public to anyone else. And then, of course, as you just mentioned, if you wanted to restrict it even more, you can select the specific membership levels that should have access to this static page.
Right, yeah, good note. So if you want to restrict it to everybody, it means you have to be logged in to see this page. You just click this and don't worry about selecting these. But if you want to only allow specific members to access it, then that's where this checklist would come into play. So head back over to the dashboard and we'll talk about the updates to the sitemap generator add-on. So generating a sitemap is pretty important. It's not necessary, but it's pretty important for a website that wants to be found by search engines, specifically Google, and have their web pages indexed and obviously included in search results. So for those of you who don't know, a sitemap is essentially a list of all the web pages and links that make up your website, and it allows crawlers or bots for the search engines to more easily navigate your website. It lets them know which pages are included in your website and which pages that search engines should eventually be indexing and including in their search results. It's not necessarily a guarantee that the search engine will include all of those web pages in search results, but it does let them know that those pages exist and that they should try to include those pages within their search results. So the update for this add-on, it's a huge update. It's a feature request that we've gotten for quite some time, at least since we released this add-on. And what we'll go ahead and do is we'll head on over into Toolbox and into Sitemap Generator. So you can generate a sitemap one time, or what you can do is you can choose a specific period of time for how often you want your website to automatically generate the sitemap. So you can choose to automatically do it never. That means you only do it whenever you manually want to create a sitemap. You can have it set so that the website creates a sitemap for you automatically every 7 days or every 30 days. 7 days would probably be a decent option for the majority of you. And if you want to keep it real simple, that's all you would do. You would save those changes and your website would generate a sitemap for you every 7 days. We do have some advanced controls, and these are for the SEO templates. So you can choose whether or not you want to include specific SEO templates within your sitemap. Now, if, say, for example, we uncheck this member profile contact form SEO template because we don't, for whatever reason, want this specific SEO template to be included in our sitemap, like I mentioned previously, that doesn't necessarily mean that Google will not be indexing pages that use this SEO template. To do that, what we'll need to do is we would go into either content and edit web pages, or we could go into the SEO templates. We would edit any of them, and we would go to display settings, and we would want to check this last option, no index, no follow. If this option is checked for any of the static web pages or the SEO templates, That means these pages will not be indexed by search engines. We're specifically telling the search engine crawlers, hey, don't index this site, don't include it in your search results. So if you want, for whatever reason, wanted to exclude certain pages from Google or Bing or any other search engines, this is the option you would use to tell those search engines to exclude these pages. Just excluding them from this list in the sitemap generator won't necessarily do that for you. But in summation, the major update to this is this automated sitemap generation. This should really come in handy. Once you set it, you kind of set it and forget it. And you should really never need to worry about generating a sitemap again if you choose to have it automatically done every 7 or 30 days.
Yeah, I think you touched on a good point here, David, is you generate your sitemap once, submit it to Google, and with these new automatic sitemap updates, your site will automatically submit new pages to Google every 7 days or every 30 days. So you don't necessarily need to generate a new sitemap. You could just do nothing and Google will be updated. Regarding the settings you mentioned, for most people, I wouldn't really recommend messing around with the advanced controls or setting pages to no index, no follow, unless you're maybe working with an SEO company that has a specific strategy in mind for your site or has a specific purpose for suppressing certain pages of your site from being indexed and found by Google. Then I would just click Generate Sitemap every 7 days and hit Save Changes. And then you wouldn't have to worry about this ever again. So another note about sitemaps is, as David mentioned it really just helps Google find new pages faster. Google will probably eventually find all the pages of your site. You're just giving them a heads up and presenting them with a list of all the pages that they should consider for indexing. Another thing about the Google Sitemap Generator and Google, let's say your site, all the pages, it adds up to, let's say 500,000 pages, all the member profile pages, all the combinations of the search results pages. Google may choose not to index certain pages. They may omit certain pages that might seem to have duplicate, thin, or light content on them. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Google just wants to present their customers and their users with the best content possible. And sometimes your website, all the pages of your website may not be relevant, and that's okay. You can identify the pages that are strong. You can identify pages that aren't indexing that you want to rank better in Google, and you could take actions to improve those pages. But I think we can save that for another webinar topic.
Yeah, I think you touched on an important point there. Generating the sitemap is useful. It kind of acts as a roadmap for the search engine crawlers to figure out which pages exist on your website. But at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that all those pages will be included in various search results. Ultimately, it lies in the hands of the search engine and whether or not the algorithms believe that the various pages on your website would prove to be a relevant search result. But nonetheless, it is good to still submit these sitemaps and at least let those search engines know which pages exist.
And I saw a couple of people had their hands up. If you want to raise your hand up again, if you had any questions about the members only add-on or the Google Sitemap Generator. All right, I see Bernie raised his hand up again here. How are you, Bernie?
Very good. How about you?
Pretty good. Thanks for taking the time to join the webinar today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I have a question regarding the members pages that members can see versus pages that non-members can see from a public standpoint.
Yes.
How do you do that part? Is that what you were talking about earlier, or is there some additional steps to do that? Because we're in a position right now, we're just about ready to release, and there's pages I'd like the advertisers or potential advertisers to see, but the option of when you click member site or non-member site, it blocks just pretty well everything except just a few pages.
Gotcha. No, so you bring up a good point here. David, can I grab the controls from you there?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Now, Bernie, do you want us to check out your site as an example?
Sure, that's fine.
All right. What's the site?
Dealsandprizes.com.
All right, great. Let's just go to the homepage real quick. And so you have these pages in the main menu here. Let's click on free membership. So these are all working as they should. So what you seem to be doing is you're going to your general settings, and there is an option to make the entire site members only here with this option here. And if you click yes, then you would just choose the pages that you want to remain public. So these are your public pages, such as your home page and other pages. It's a comma separated list of basically the URLs.
Okay.
So you can certainly do that, and then everything except these pages would require specific membership level access. So that's one way to go about it. Another way to go about it was, as David mentioned, let's just go to your edit web pages here. And let's just choose a random page here, this free membership page. Let's say you made your site that setting that I just set was no, so the whole site is public, but you just, with these new settings, you can pick and choose which pages you want to be private. So let's say this was a page that you only wanted certain people to have access to. Of course, you can go to the display setting, make it members only, and then you can further decide which members have access to this specific page. And then furthermore, and I'm not going to get too much in detail with it, but you also have an option for different post types. So Bernie, let's say you have premium prize, your regular prizes page and premium prizes that you list, similar to like blog posts and premium blog posts. You can certainly go in here and the different post type, you do have one called prizes. Let's say you wanted to create one called premium prizes. So these would obviously be published similar to blog posts. You'd have one after another. What you can choose is this option here, members only access. So right now it's set to keep public for all visitors, but you can certainly protect both the detail page and the search results page, or just the detail page, so people can kind of see a teaser getting to the search results page for this type of post. But then if they try to access the detail page of that post and view a specific post, they would be prompted to either log in or upgrade their membership level. What I'd recommend, Bernie, is to head on over to our Brilliant Directories site, and I'll share a link here. We do have a video on the members only content page. I'm going to drop this page in the chat here. And this video here, right here, this image here, does explain some additional functionality included with the members only content add-on. So I just dropped that in the chat there. Everyone should be able to access that, and you can check it out, Bernie, after the webinar.
Cool. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Bernie, for joining. Good question there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that new update with the members only was the final piece to the puzzle, being able to restrict static pages, because before you could lock down your whole site, you could lock down specific types of post publishing, and now you can lock down specific standalone static pages. So it's a really nice add-on enhancement to this add-on. And so I don't see any more hands up. So thank you, David, for taking the time and explaining those new add-on updates for us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, and we're going to keep David in the loop here. We came up with a great tip of the week here, and we do see it a lot in the support center as well. And when people are checking out our demo sites, they're wondering which theme they should include on their site, what type of homepage they should have. So we decided to focus on 5 ways to refocus your homepage to engage your website visitors. And really, it depends on the market you're serving, the type of content you're publishing and creating on your website, but we wanted to maybe help stimulate some ideas, and maybe we could revisit, you could revisit your approach to how you've set up your homepage after taking a look at some of these homepage examples. So the first question is, what should your homepage, your homepage hero do? And if you don't know what the homepage hero is, it's basically the first fold. And let me go to a site. So the homepage hero in online marketing terms, it's this first area here that you see before you have to do any scrolling. So if we look at these different examples here real quick, this is the homepage hero here. This is the homepage hero here, and I think we all get the idea. It's basically the first thing you see without needing to scroll down on your homepage, and it's the most important because it's your first welcome hello to the website visitors, and the most important thing is to connect with them instantly and immediately. So a few things you want your homepage hero to do is, one, connect with the interests of your visitors. And what I'm referring to there are emotional interests. I see a lot of people share their sites in the Facebook group, and their homepage hero title, the main title, it says, search for doctors or search for pet services. What we should be doing is finding a title that touches on the emotional problem or needs of the potential visitor. Tired of searching the internet, find trusted doctors to help you quick, or something to that effect, where it's not just search the directory, it's a reason and mission and purpose of why your website exists in the first place, which should be to solve the interests and problems of your potential website visitors. Number two, your homepage hero, whether it's a search module or a link to a page, it should showcase and connect to the strongest content and resources of your site. So you don't want to have a search module when you don't really have any members listed on your site, because it's just going to result in an empty search results page, especially when you're starting out. And again, strongest content also correlates to the interests of your visitors. So your strongest content may not be your membership directory. It may be your amazing blog and the content that you're publishing. In Bernie's case, his deals and prize website, it's probably finding deals and prizes, not necessarily the member directory. So again, you want to showcase your strongest and most valuable resources to your website visitors. Number three is you want to encourage visitors to click and explore more on your website. So a good homepage hero has a clear title, has a nice graphic, a nice high quality image, and also a clear call to action. You don't want to offer too many places for people to click, or if you're trying to funnel people down a certain path, you don't want to confuse them with contradictory areas to click, and you don't want users to potentially freeze and leave your website. Not that having a lot of links is a bad thing, but they should be well organized, and it should be easy to navigate going to certain areas of your site. And lastly, it's to establish credibility. Again, it's the first thing, it's the first impact, visual impact, and intellectual impact, because they're reading the words on your site that you have with website visitors. So using high quality images, touching on emotional needs and problems of the potential visitor helps you establish credibility and increases the chances of that website visitor clicking into more pages past your homepage. And all of this eventually it results and leads to more engagement and more subscribers, more member signups, etc., etc. So Dave, this is the basic search module that is perfectly fine for most sites, but when is it good to use a search module with input fields like this on a homepage?
Well, it depends what kind of content you have and how much of that content you have. So for this specific search module, typically what I think is probably the best sort of search modules, ones where you give the website visitors a clear path to follow. So one like this with an open search term, that may be a little difficult for the website visitor to end up getting search results on your site, because they may not necessarily be searching for the exact right thing that you have a lot of content for. So instead, you may want to provide them with a search module that has the ability for them to choose a category or strictly a location. Ultimately, whatever best fits the content on your site. But in terms of content specifically, this could be for searching members if you have maybe a business directory. It could be for searching real estate properties, classified ads. Classified ads would be a good one to use categories with instead of maybe an open search term.
And one thing about this, the tip about limiting the search fields, again, this is especially if you're just starting out. Chances are you don't have a lot of members in different locations. So you might just want to start with a category dropdown and make it really simple, and also start with a limited number of categories. I don't see a benefit of adding hundreds of categories to your site, because you're just making more work for yourself having to fill those categories with members. So a lot of pages on your site are going to remain empty. Whereas if you hyper-focused with maybe 5 or 10 or maybe even up to 20 categories, not only can you manually add members into those categories to get things started, but it's going to be easier for someone to potentially find what they're looking for. And it also sharpens the focus of your site to potential visitors, so they know exactly what they can find on your site. So again, less is more in a case like this. Now, another option you have is to use a lead capture form on your homepage. And let me just quickly go to the example we have here on our demo site. You can always go to demobootstrap.com, and if you go to try new theme up here, this one is the lead capture theme right down here, and you can toggle on over there. So I think this is a fantastic theme. What's really critical about using a capture form on your homepage is a couple things. One is I would recommend using a high quality image on your site. You can find free stock photos or paid photos around the internet. Another thing about photos, just a side note, make sure you're not covering people's faces and smiles with text and forms. We see it far too often. There are images where the subject of the image, for example, this guy right here, he's on the left or on the right, and that allows you, then there's a void on the other side of the image that allows you to put text, a form like this, and it creates a much better presentation when you come to the site. It looks more deliberate, more planned, and more designed, and you don't need to be a designer, you just have to choose the right type of photo for the section that it's filling. So what's really nice about a lead capture form, let's go here, when you want to use a lead capture form, if in fact that is your business model to capture leads, maybe you're capturing them for yourself, maybe you capture leads from the website visitors and then you distribute them to members in your database. Also, if you don't have a lot of members on your site, maybe you want to start with the lead capture form, so at least you can get the ball rolling with serving visitors with something useful. You'll at least be collecting some email addresses, and then maybe the few members that you have on your site, you can shower them with all the leads you're getting as you build up the member database in the meantime. So yeah, if you don't have many members to search, maybe you want to opt for the lead capture form, because certainly a site like this looks professional. You know, there aren't too many links here. You know, how it works, that could be our mission. And this could work for basically any type of industry, any type of service professional. It could be legal, medical, general contractors, construction, pets, basically anything, as long as the messaging is clear. And then another tip, and this goes back to the same one as number one, is you want to use shorter forms. You can totally customize what we call this get matched form, this lead capture form. But if you're a website visitor, I would focus more on a stronger title and what they're going to get, the benefit for filling out this form, and try to keep the form fields relatively brief and short. You don't want to add too much here. I think there's something called form fatigue, and when there's too many input fields to complete, the website visitor may abandon the form, and that's going to reduce the number of conversions from a page like this. And let me take one step back. Let me show you guys how you can add the lead form to your homepage here. Bernie, I'm not going to change anything on your site. I'm just going to head on over to your design settings and show a setting here. So if you want the lead form on your homepage there, go to your design settings, homepage layout, and then it would be the homepage search settings. And under search type, if you scroll down, actually the last option here is show lead form, and then you can align it on the left, right, or center. Again, if you align it left, right, or center, make sure that it's accompanying, not competing with the background image that you select. So here it is here under the search type, show lead form. All right, the third type are the navigation buttons. And David, you've mentioned that sometimes you like to use 2 buttons or sometimes a single button depending on the site.
Yeah, so we're using it on the classifieds theme and the classifieds demo. As you can see in the image, one button is to go straight ahead and to post a new ad. The other one is to actually dive in to see what products or items are being listed on the site. So this serves 2 different audiences. One, it serves for people who actually want to post their items as classified ads. And the other audience is people who don't necessarily want to sell anything, but who actually want to purchase items. So that's one example of serving 2 different audiences. You can mix it in with a lead gen website where one button can be request a quote and the other one could be search local professionals or something like that. So you're giving the same audience 2 different options. They can either submit a quote request right away and you or the website would then match that person with qualified professionals listed in your directory, or if they don't want to do that, they can themselves dive into your directory, see who they think would best fit what it is they're looking for, and then they themselves can reach out to the professionals listed in the directory. So this can be used in quite a few different ways.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it is you can choose where you want the buttons to go. I think we're also using it in the interior design demo example here. So there's 2 buttons here: join our design network and then get free quotes from designers. So one of them is geared towards the professional, one of them is geared towards the end user of the site. And again, it might not be even related to signing up or searching. It could be to take people to like blog posts or another section of your site. Again, that you want to focus on the strongest resources of your site, and these are just different ways to navigate potential website visitors to give them a good experience. Again, the goal here is they don't leave your site, you give them something to click on.
What you could also use it for, going back and tying in the members only content add-on, typically, unless you're making like a company intranet or something real private like that, you don't necessarily want to lock down your entire site with the members only content. But if you are doing that, you can use this homepage module and have 2 options: one to log in to access the site, and then one to register to then access the site.
Exactly, 2 different calls to action, and in some cases, similar to how we edited the buttons, how Rick showed us, changing it from 2 login button links on that menu, changing it to 1. This also uses the logic from the Bootstrap classes 1 through 12. So you could just make one all the way 12 rather than 6 and 6. So it's really easy to modify these buttons. Now let me show you guys, if you wanted to use these buttons on your homepage, where you can find it. It's in the same place as the lead form. But what's nice about this is we do provide you with some little assistance to get it styled the way that you want it. So head on over to your design settings. Under homepage layout, same place, homepage search settings. And in this case, we want to do, it's also towards the bottom, hero message with links. So we already talked about what the hero homepage is. So you're going to have a hero title message and links. And when you select this option, this box displays. So let me just change it. You'll see it go away. All right, so that box went away. Let me switch it back. Hero message with link, and now it's here. So we do have a link here, button example code, and we do show you how to achieve a single button like this, or how to achieve 2 buttons similar to this. So you can follow this documentation, and it does provide a helping hand to help you achieve a single button or double button on your homepage there. All right, this one also includes a button, but it utilizes like a 2-column system on your site. And what's really nice about this is it's nice if you want to highlight something specific on your website. Maybe it's just a promo that you're running. Let me take you to the online products catalog theme. So this is our products catalog demo. And we've created this homepage here just with the design settings. We have the main title on the left. We have the secondary title on the right, and then we've included a button here. So you can actually, let me show you how you can recreate this. Let me go into, I just logged into the products catalog demo here. And let's see what they're showing here. They're showcasing their pillow collection in this case. So again, just like our classifieds theme, we could have had the search module there. We could have had the search for classifieds where you put a keyword and all that good stuff, but we're choosing, depending on the stage that your site is in right now, to use navigation buttons to create a better user experience. In this case, they might be having a holiday special on pillows, or they just released something, but it has a really good impression and really shows potential visitors that your company and your website has a pulse when you're doing something specific like this on your homepage. So let's just see here. Yeah, you can direct users to stronger sections of your site, and obviously there's a clear call to action here. We want them to click on Browse Pillow Collection. So let's show you how we achieve that. And if you see something on any one of our demo sites, you can always log into the admin area of the demo and kind of click around to see what's going on there. So in this case, I'm in the products catalog demo, and I'll head on over to design settings. And same place, we're focusing on the homepage layout and the homepage search settings. Okay, so if you want to achieve that, this is just a little specific what you need to do here. The search type you want to use is hide search module. So there's no search module. It's basically focusing on the title text and the subtitle text here. So hide search module. Number two, to get that 2-column layout, the main title width, set it to 6. Just like we talked about before, it's going to use 50% of the page for the main title and then the other 50% for the subtitle text. So they're going to be side by side, one on the left and one on the right, because 6 columns and 6 columns adds up to 12. So very simply, we have our main title text here, and then the subtitle text. We have it here with the button code. So we have the message here, and then the button code, and you can also get that same button code from that documentation link that I shared. You can just kind of copy it there. It explains what to input here, and here we can see Browse Pillow Collection. So just a little bit of coding here. You can definitely figure out what you need to do, but that will help you achieve a look similar to this. And obviously when you use a large amount of padding on the top and the bottom, it does, and with a nice high quality image, and notice we're not covering anyone's faces or smiles or eyes. It's just a scenery picture of a backyard with a pool. You can definitely create a very dramatic effect on your homepage without having a search module there. All right, and there's one more that we want to share. It's kind of similar to this one, but this one actually has a different purpose. You could potentially link to a sponsored post. And let me first show you what I'm referring to before I go through these points. And I'm in love with this new concept here. This always existed. I just hadn't seen it before. But we can look here. This is a kind of like a magazine style website. Their main focus are their blog articles. They do have a section to find professional members, but they're focusing on articles here. And what they've done is there isn't a search, there isn't a link to a search results page or a sign up page. They are linking to a specific post, this article on the SoulCycle CEO. And let me show you exactly how they achieve this. Give me one moment. And what this is good for, and what it's really great at, if your website is content driven, whether it's events or blog posts or even deals and prizes like Bernie's site, you can really give specific attention to one single post, and it really sets the tone for the rest of your site, especially if you have other calls to action on your internal pages, such as your sidebar or your header, or in the footer area, if you have other calls to action to keep people clicking. And also you'd want to use this if maybe the member directory is secondary, so maybe other content is more important on your site. Again, like events, articles, coupons, job listings, property listings, and the member directory is secondary. You can showcase your best content or your freshest content, so people will want to come back to your site daily or weekly, however often you want to update this. You can instantly engage your visitors by posting a compelling article there that you know your website visitors and subscribers would be interested in. There's obviously a clear call to action, so your chances of getting a click to an internal page dramatically increase, and again, you're driving traffic to a specific page. Now also keep in mind, this could be a sponsored area that you sell to a potential advertiser or someone that wants for you to link directly to their article. You can obviously sell this real estate on your site using the Sell Digital Downloads add-on. So let's go back and see exactly how this was achieved on this site. So let's take a look at it one more time. So again, they're using an image on the site, and again, I gotta say it because I see it every day. They're not covering the eyes, face, nose, or smile of the subject of the photo. They're utilizing the void on the left in this case as the area for the text. Now, let me show you guys something else before I show you how this was created. Brilliant Directories platform is smart enough that when it goes into mobile view, that it's going to keep the text on the side of the image that has the void. You're not going to see the whole image, and that's on purpose because, one, it's a rectangle image, horizontal, and when you're on mobile, you're looking more vertical. So unless you wanted an empty area, it's impossible to see the other side. So what the system does is it knows the area that the text should be behind, and it maintains those perspectives and ratios. So the text will always have the correct contrasting color behind it. We obviously wouldn't want this white text over this on the white with white background here. All right, so how do we achieve this? Very similar to the products. Let me go to design settings. And again, homepage layout, homepage search settings. And again, the search type here, important, the hide search module. So we're just focusing on displaying text here. In this case, the main title width is 7. So it's not 6 and 6, they're not 50-50, it's 7. So the second part is being pushed to the next line underneath the main title. So make sure that this is 7 or larger than 6 at least. And then similar to the products, we have the code here. We have the main title, and then we have our subtext, and then the link here. Let me just spread it out so everyone can see here. I'll even copy this code here for the subtitle text so you can play around with it if you want to utilize this on your site. I'll just paste it into the chat there.
I think the main key with this hero option is that that button can link to any page on your website. It doesn't need to necessarily be a static page or a single piece of content. A quick example, going back to the products theme, if you have a product site and maybe you just released a new category of products on your site, you can kind of make a little announcement in this hero area saying, hey, we now have these products on the site, click here to check them out, and then that button would link to the search results page for the products in that new specific category.
That's a really good point. Or even if you're running a contest for that month and you want to get people to apply or whatever it might be, whatever action you most desire in that stage, wherever the stage is that your website's at. Yeah, I agree with you. This button can come in very handy as opposed to using a search module.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, great. So good stuff there. A lot of examples there, just kind of using the design settings, the homepage design settings. If you guys have questions on this right now, feel free to raise your hand. We can take a look at your site, and maybe we want to review your homepage hero and see if there are ways to potentially improve it based on the industry that you're serving or the stage that your website is currently at. All right, Jeff's got his hand up again. Jeff, it looks like you're muted there. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Sorry to dominate the questions. Just a quick one. In our site, we've got the search up the top in the top header. So when you have it on the main content and you go to mobile view, you've obviously got two searches. Is there an option to turn off one of those when it's in mobile view?
Yeah,
Hide it?
there is a setting for the one in the header. So you can go to header design, and there are mobile view options here. And in that case that you're explaining, Jeff, the header search you can hide on mobile or display on mobile. That would be the most that would be the setting to control that available right now.
Yeah, that's excellent, because it obviously takes up a lot of real estate when you've got two searches, one after the other in a mobile view.
I agree with you that header space is very valuable on mobile view. There are other options here. You can hide the entire header, the website logo, or the mini navs, those smaller links up here like these phone number and stuff. You can choose to display or hide those on mobile as well with these settings.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Let's actually take a look at what Jeff's referring to. Let's go to mobile view here so we can see. Absolutely. So we see half the screen is basically just the title text. In some cases, you just need your logo. You might want to get rid of some of these options here, but those settings are there for you to decide what is best for your site. All right, great. We don't see any more hands up here. If you guys do have questions, please feel free to join the Facebook group. Let's go back on some of these slides here. So lots of ways to dress up your homepage depending on your industry. David, thank you so much for covering the new updates to the existing add-ons that we have, and we have new add-ons being released in the coming weeks as well. Rick, thank you so much for covering the topic on adding calls to action to your login page. I really like the suggestion about using an image and a banner ad there. And if you haven't already done so, please take a moment to join us in our Facebook group. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Just click the join button. If you have any questions or discussions you'd like to start, feel free to post them in there and we can continue the conversation. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. It's been great to be with you here today. So on behalf of myself, David, Rick, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to catching you in the next webinar Wednesday. Have a great week, guys, and chat with you soon.